Welcome to Method Road Park here on the fringes of NC State University's campus here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Chris Lehman and Khalil Elliott on Wolfpack Sports Television bringing you NC State lacrosse as the Wolfpack host the Pirates. Pirates in their gray unis with those purple numerals trimmed in gold on the backs of their jerseys. NC State in the white tops, red bottoms, gray numerals on the backs of those jerseys trimmed in red. And we're just about set for the opening face-off here at center field. NC State on a roll. They've been pretty good this year, 6-3 record, Khalil, and coming in, they seem to be the favorite in this one.
Honestly, Chris, I can just feel the tension in the air. God, they are ready to go.
And we're still waiting on the opening faceoff. Looks like we're just about ready. Couple of players to watch out for the Pirates. That includes number 1, Tom Wheel, 13 goals, 6 assists, leading point scorer for the Pirates.
He is definitely one to be watched.
So we'll have to watch out for him. NC State will have number 11, Colt Deaver, taking the face-off. He's up against Patrick Coffey, another one to look out for, second in points for the Pirates, 10 points on 4 goals and 6 assists. So that's the matchup to start this, as the two will get down in the crouch, ready to start.
Here it comes, the most climactic part of the entire game.
And some dark skies rolling in, so we'll keep coverage going for you as long as possible. One back by Deaver. NC State will collect on their own half, moving left to right here in the first half. Across the far sideline, work down.
They're going to have to keep the energy
behind
up.
the net. And we did see one other game postponed by rain. Quickly, the shot from Deaver gets away from his wicket as he was found out in front by number 23, Miller Barber. Back the other way quickly come the Pirates down that far sideline, turning and holding on to it. Jeremy Bowes will run it down into that far corner.
That was sad for State. Put a little bit too much spin on that ball. Got out away from him.
And there's Wheel, one to watch out for. We talked about he's got to get to this ball before it gets out, and he can't. And so NC State will get possession here, out of bounds on this near sideline.
Looks like State caught a break with that one.
It'll be John Duncan to pick it up and get it back in play. He'll go behind the NC State goal, where it's brought back out across the far sideline. But both teams with a couple of chances to get things going early, both unable to connect on a couple of passes that could have set up good chances, Khalil.
Looks like number 14 is being bullied right now.
Yeah, he got knocked around on the other sideline. That was Grayson Lecomte for NC State. Lost it out of bounds. ECU will bring it back the other way. At half, spinning around and across half. Plenty of space. In come the Pirates, holding up on the far sideline. They'll set up offense. Brendan Kelly, 4 goals on the year for the Pirates, brought that one up. Worked around behind, held on to now by Ray McCarty. McCarty will bring it back out in front. Worked around to the top of the attack line. And ECU just biding time here as they work it around.
That change of position is marvelous.
NC State will up the pressure on defense. John Huey out there knocking it around, wheel behind, fakes the shot, turns around on the near side of the goal, gets it out in front. Good job there by McCarty.
This game might be a lot tougher than State expected.
We'll see ECU doing a good job with possession, trying to get it out, lost. It'll roll back towards half. Players waiting for it to get across, and it's scooped up, and ECU will gain possession, knocked back across the half line on the ECU half. Taken, NC State has it, bringing it back the other way. It's Johnson in on a breakaway, fakes, bounces it around off the crossbar. Good chance for the Pack, loose ball picked up, and NC State still has control. Behind the net, loose on the ground, picked back up. As with it now is Miller Barber, worked back around, right in front, throws it in, he scores.
There we go, that's one for the State.
And NC State puts their first one up on the board, 1-0, but we're starting to see why ECU doesn't score quite so many goals. As we took a look offensively, you see NC State, a lot of movement down at this end in a very short period of time, opens up space and Miller Barber scores, but it seemed like ECU was doing the exact opposite on the other end.
Right. It's almost as if they hesitated at the NC State's goal.
And so we'll see what ensues. We'll face off again.
I'm looking to see big things here. Looking to see big things here indeed.
Both players set. Whistle blows. Face off one forward. Deaver will bring it right up. He's got plenty of space across to the far sideline, down low. Chance in front. Score!
Woo!
Just like that, 2-0 NC State. That one's Adam Johnson.
Johnson just made a lot of people proud today. That's 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. State is on fire right now.
And you're starting to see why faceoffs are so important, as Deaver won that one straight forward for NC State and got it right down low. ECU can't set up any kind of defense, and it's an easy put-in for number 3, Adam Johnson.
And the good thing for State right now is since they've been able to get these 2 goals back-to-back, they're going to start building up a psychological attack against ECU. They're going to have ECU running a little scared right now. And we're going to be starting our 3rd face-off. Let's see who's going to be able to come victorious out of this.
Deaver has won the last 2 pretty easily, and they'll set up. This one's a little more of a struggle. Deaver's got it again, though, as he brings it up down the near sideline.
Let's see what happens.
He'll cradle it into the corner, around behind for the last goal scorer, Johnson. He angles over into the far corner, up the far sideline.
It's a long pass.
NC State looks like they're spreading things out, getting some changes into the game.
That's good, that's good.
Blackwelder in for the first time. We'll have another substitution coming in for the Blackwelder, just mentioned, had it into the game now for NC State's number 10, Bailey Quinn. He's got it now. Working around in front of the goal, spins back, holds on to it. Pardon me, I misspoke. That is Chris Schultz, number 21. He'll get it right back on that far sideline. Back out to Blackwelder. Holds it there. Now he's going to charge in. One-handed cradle.
Have to push through.
He'll get it out, back out in front, and it's fanned on again. NC State another good chance in front. Coming from the near corner, Miller Barber with the pass. And it was number 30, Michael Sullivan, who couldn't hold on to it. NC State had a chance to go up 3-0, but still, for the most part, in control of this one, Khalil. Back the other way, ECU down into the corner. It's knocked away. Loose ball on the ground. Who's going to pick it up? ECU's got a man on the floor.
State has the ball again.
State will pick it up. Quickly back the other way they come. Up the near sideline, working with it. Harrison Palmer crosses half. Holds on to it. Gets it out in front. Plenty of space. Worked over. Schultz with it.
ECU was doing their best to run down Palmer, so he had to make that quick pass or else he would have run out of steam.
Now NC State will slow things down a bit and set up offensively. And they're getting some changes in as well. Over to the near side, holding on to it. Michael Sullivan jogs back behind the goal. He's got some space to work with around to the far side. Almost thrown over the head of a teammate and out of bounds. It's a good save there from Deaver. He gets it back out into the center of the field, charging in on the side of the net, back behind. Back out in front, and the pass doesn't connect. Loose on the ground. Deaver has it. Far sideline, back out in front. He's got Barber.
You've got to applaud State's recovery game.
They've done a great job getting to those loose ground balls. And they'll set up again. Back behind. Holding on to it, Melton. Gives it off. Johnson spinning out in front. Looking for an open teammate. He's got Melton. Fires it hard, and it's stopped.
Close, though. Close, though.
Good chance with some traffic in front. I think Melton was hoping for some kind of deflection in front, and he doesn't get it. Handled easily by the keeper, Mitch Grunewald, who's in the net for the Pirates. And ECU has control offensively.
I'm hoping for ECU's stake. They don't try the quick pass game again like they did last time they had the ball, and we're going to make a tough pass.
It's worked around the horn all the way back up top for Brendan Byer. Byer goes across where he's got Brown.
They seem to be playing the passing game again.
And they're just looking for that hole in the NC State defense, but it doesn't seem like they're moving quick enough. Almost a steal there for the Pack. It's worked back up to the top of the attack line. And now ECU will spin off. Back to Byer. He's going to take a couple steps in. Rips one right in on goal, and it's easily handled by the NC State keeper, Brady Edwards. And NC State quickly the other way. Bringing it forward is Horner. All the way behind. He hands it off there for Sullivan. And Sullivan will hold it back along the end line down to your right.
Sullivan's in control of it right now, but he's being beaten back.
And he's going to have to get it out to an open teammate in number 17, John Duncan. And he's going to hold on to it as NC State brings in some fresh bodies. Adam Johnson with it again. Behind the net. He'll give it off to Edwards. Edwards looking around, nothing there. Works back out in front. Thinks about the shot. Goes there in front. Has a man
Could it
open.
be?
The shot is knocked away. Good chance defensively for NC State. Or rather offensively, as they had ECU defensively in a bad position. Trying to come forward. Ball's knocked on the ground. Who's going to come up with it? Swept forward. Still at half. It's knocked back. And NC State comes away with it.
Steal.
And Grayson LeConte picks up the ground ball. Loses it right back. NC State picks up another ground ball. They'll have to work it back up. And it's up the near side with his John Huey. Huey crosses half. Still holding on to it. He's got space. Going to try and get in front. He does. Can he get the goal? Throws it in. He scores.
That's
great individual effort from Huey.
Third goal for State tonight.
And there was just a huge hole there for him. ECU
really
leaving plenty of room for NC State to move offensively. And I think part of that is, though, how quickly NC State comes up the field.
I would say that.
So it is 3-0 NC State now. First goal from Miller Barber came early, and then just seconds later, it was Adam Johnson right off the draw. Deaver brought it forward and got it out to the far side, and Johnson able to put it home.
If ECU doesn't find a way to come back from this, they're going to be in for a long game tonight.
They're set in the center circle one more time.
State has gotten the ball 3 times on the face-off. Let's see if ECU might be able to bring something to the game.
Deaver wins it forward again. He's got space charging forward. This looked like the second goal. Quick movement, and it's not held on to by Sullivan. Michael Sullivan will go grab it. He was open here on the near side with an open shot at the net, and the pass was just over his head. But NC State will set up the offense again. NC State gets some changes in. Blackwelder back in, and he'll get the ball. Works to the center of the field, back across to the sideline. NC State will possess. Blackwelder gets it right back on that attack line. Down the near side, back in behind the goal. Sullivan with it again on the far side, up the sideline. And ECU really compact right now defensively, trying to eliminate holes. Blackwelder is going to move him around as he charges in, spins back out to the top and around the horn.
Though State does have a good tendency to go in deep where there are a lot of ECU and still get the goal just by basically forcing their way through.
They're continuing to move, continually forcing the defensive structure of the Pirates to move. Miller Barber fakes the shot, trying to get in front near side, knocks his man down over the top in front, and no one's there to connect and put it home for NC State. It'll be chased down and kept in on the offensive half by number 12, Carter Rucker. And working with it again, Bailey Quinn. Quinn spins, can't get in front of the net, so he'll throw it behind for Barber.
The quick pass.
A crossover to Johnson. Adam Johnson, one of the goal scorers for the Pack. Worked around back up top, Blackwelder. He's going to charge in this time, find space. Off the ground, it bounces over top.
So close, so close.
NC State will hold on to possession. They were the closest as that rolls out. And the way that the out-of-bounds rules work here in lacrosse, a little bit different than most other sports. On a pass, if it goes out of bounds, it goes to the team that was defending. But on a shot, it goes to the team who has the player closest to where the ball goes out. And so NC State holds on to it, still working offensively. Ball on the ground, scooped up and thrown on. And that will be considered a shot. NC State closest again on the end line, and Michael Sullivan will restart play for the Pack. 3-0 NC State here in the first half.
Pack is staying close to that goal. They are not giving an inch.
They lost possession. ECU trying to bring it up, stolen right back by NC State. And they'll set up the offense again. Blackwelder.
McCarthy seemed unaware that the ball was behind him, so I feel sorry for him for that account.
Another one just wide, as NC State had a good chance on the near side post. Unable to connect was Bailey Quinn. And the Pack will set up again. Blackwelder goes over to Quinn. Down low behind the net for Johnson, and now we're going to have an official time. And there might be an issue here with the net, as we did have some contact. That's exactly what it was. It came off its markings. So they'll reset that, and I think play will just resume exactly where Johnson's standing. It does. He'll go back to Quinn, over to Blackwelder, and across the field where he's got Rucker. Rucker will charge down the sideline with it, spins back, out up top with it now, on the ground. Couldn't handle the pass, Quinn. Still having trouble, and he eventually sweeps it up right near that half line.
A lot more power than he thought it would.
Now he'll bring it back forward. Whistle stops play, and it'll be turned back over to ECU. And they'll bring it up the near side. Thomas Morgan goes across, driving in, rip shot, score.
ECU's first of the night, and they are excited.
And they have broken the shutout. We'll see if that turns the momentum at all. Brian George, the scorer on that one. And he makes it 3-1.
As long as State keeps their head in the game, this could be a close match.
And NC State certainly had control just really completely, mostly playing in their offensive half here in the first half, aside from a couple of instances. And even that one, it really seems like the only thing that they need to be concerned about right now is a quick Pirate counterattack when they've got a lot of players deep. And of course, with lacrosse rules, there are 3 players on each side back on the NC State half. NC State working, Deaver holding on to it. Here in the near sideline, goes back behind the goal for Sullivan. Over to Barber, loose in front, spins around, he doesn't have a good shot, can't get it away. Goes back to Sullivan behind the net. Working around the far side, he has it stolen away. And a flag thrown. That will be a penalty on Sullivan once he heads in, and so it'll be a man advantage, I believe, for ECU. And they will work with it here. Behind the goal, trying to get in front. Whistle will stop play, and it looks like NC State will get it back. I'm not sure what the call was there. I heard the whistle, and that was it. Something over behind the net.
No, whatever the referee says goes.
And still, I'm not even sure where exactly. It looks like we'll restart in the far corner. ECU maintains possession as they'll work it around. They're going to fire a shot deflected high and up over top of the NC State goal. They got lucky there. That was a hard shot that looked like it was on target until it found another stick in front. But ECU closest to the ball as it went out, and they'll hold on to it again. Up top, it's Jeff O'Brien. Angles back over to the far sideline, plays the catch, gets it back.
As long as State keeps the defensive dynamic, they could stop this ball.
And they're still working down a man. Charging in front, the shot goes just high for Tom Wheel. We talked about him. He's been dangerous this year for ECU. And it looks like a dispute over who was closest when the ball passed out of bounds, and it looks like they'll give it to ECU. The Pirates hold on. Fake shot. Here comes the real one. Stop made. Great job by the keeper, Edwards, for NC State. Another good chance, and Jeff O'Brien showed earlier he's got quite the shot.
With the almost nonchalance of that stop by the keeper, we can basically tell that this is not his first time in the rodeo, and he is ready for anything ECU has coming at him.
NC State brings it across half, and they'll set up offensively. Still need to respond to that goal they gave up just a couple minutes ago. They lead 3-1 over the ECU Pirates right now. Chris Lehman, Khalil Elliott on Wolfpack Sports Television. NC State controlling down to our right on the far sideline. Spinning, trying to get in front is Johnson. He'll go back towards half. Worked back around to Deaver. He's going to charge in, looking for a shot, guarded heavily. He's going to turn it back out, and NC State resets their offense. Back around from the side, the shot hits the crossbar. It looked like the keeper got a piece of it too. NC State holds on to it. Set up again, Deaver back towards half. Hold on to, coming in. NC State's Jesse Melton.
Looks like they might be going for another goal.
That's right out
but
front.
ECU has the ball.
And ECU picks up the ground ball back the other way quickly. And this is how they scored last time. They got back before NC State had numbers. Bringing it down, Ray McCarty drops it back off, and NC State's able to set up. We'll see if ECU can find anything now. Brett Ryder lobs it across to the far sideline. There to pick it up, Thomas Morgan. Goes down towards the corner. A bobbled pass left there. And it's still being fought for. It'll roll over towards the out-of-bounds line, and ECU picks it up. So they'll hold on. Some space. He slips. That's
This
Wheel.
could be State's
Wheel
chance.
loses his wicket. NC State gets back possession. That's unfortunate for Tom Wheel.
Going for a short pass to push it back towards the NC State goal.
NC State's going to bring it up quickly. That's number 17, John Duncan, still with it. Down into the far corner. He's got Barber, gets it back on the far sideline, back towards the center of the field for Melton. Melton's going to come in. He's got an open shot, and it's stopped.
Oof.
Just barely controlled the rebound, too, but that's a nice save from Grunewald. He's had to face a lot of tough shots. He's getting knocked around here as he still got it out of his own net. Finds a defender to hand it off to in Cunningham, and now ECU will create some space and reset. That was a dangerous play by Grunewald, though.
It really was.
And that will do it for the first half as we finish it up. NC State, 3 quick goals early. It's quieted down a little bit. ECU answered, though, and it's 3-1 after the first 20 minutes. This is NC State Lacrosse on Wolfpack Sports Television. And a little pause as Lloyd has to restrap his helmet. The official sees one strap undone, and so now we'll restart Deaver with it up at the top. Over to the far sideline, now back behind. Over to Lloyd on the near side. Back up for Deaver at the top. Around to the far side, back behind again. Lloyd on the near side. Up to Deaver again. Pick up the pace, NC State will. Knocked around, losing it now. NC State, that was Sullivan. Quickly the other way, ECU has numbers, and they're going to elect to hold up and set things up. It'll be Wheel, he gets some space, hasn't scored tonight. He's got 13 on the season, though, for the Pirates. And he's being double-teamed right now on the near side. Splits it, gets through. And there will be a timeout called by ECU as they will set things up. But what do the Pirates need to do here? They're starting to shift the momentum. They got the last goal, and they've made some defensive stops. Things are moving in their direction. What do they need to do to keep it going, Khalil?
Honestly, what they need to do to keep it going is keep the pressure, and keep the pressure. Right now, State's been pushing through, pretty much bearing their fangs at ECU, keeping them on their toes. But if ECU can come with a turnaround and give them a defensive wall, this might just be a lot closer game than we thought.
Well, and one of the things that it seems like ECU has done pretty well, and they've capitalized on it once with that goal, but transitionally, getting up the field quickly and counterattacking has worked out pretty well for them. I was a little bit surprised to see them take that time out there when they had a chance to take advantage of some numbers.
They're quick. They're quick and they're cautious, which are two very important things to have right now.
The two teams still talking things over. As they do, we'll take a break here on Wolfpack Sports Television as well. Teams are ready to break back. Looked like it was going to be a longer timeout, but NC State will head back out onto the field. And those white tops, red bottoms, all dark gray unis for the Pirates. It's one thing they always seem to have on their side. ECU has some style to their uniforms all the time.
Style builds confidence. Always good.
Well, we started this game with a little bit of natural light still aiding the sight of the players. Now it's all artificial. The lights are on here at Method Field.
And those blurring lights can sometimes be distracting.
And so ECU will get set to restart. And it'll be handed over to Pat Mamel. Mamel will start it back up for ECU. Back towards half. He's going to retreat. NC State has two defenders.
Oh,
How big hit. He loses it. Nice play defensively by NC State. That was Bailey Quinn who jarred it loose, and now NC State brings it back the other way.
Heck, Bailey Quinn, more like the Iron Wall of State.
Travis Henshaw brings it up for NC State on the far sideline. NC State will get it back behind. Now holding on to it, Adam Johnson. He got it from Henshaw, and NC State will start to work the offense. Lloyd Back across, Hinshaw with it again. Work back up again to Lloyd. Mishandles the pass, looked away before he had control, and now ECU will bring it back. Quickly charging up the field, straight up the middle, handed off, down behind on the side, and it's lost. NC State gets it back as Edwards comes out to pick up the ground ball, but ECU squanders a great opportunity. NC State a chance the other way, and it's blocked.
Close, close, close.
Ronowald does a great job in front, but NC State gets the rebound and scores.
They kept the momentum up from Bailey Quinn's iron wall and just kept going with it. Even that quick change of possession wasn't enough to stop State. They got the ball back and they drove it through.
Well, that was a goal that they badly needed. Things that started to turn ECU's way. And another goal could have been interesting. That's the kind of situation where you think, depending on how much time there is in a game, it's the kind of goal that can indicate who's going to win and who's going to lose. And NC State gets that ever-important goal.
Now let's see who's able to come victorious from this face-off.
Deaver has been very good for NC State.
Yes, he has.
And he's given NC State really some good scoring chances off of face-offs, especially in the center circle, in particular the one earlier in this game. Despite
the change of possessions, I would go out on a limb and say that this is the most important part of the game. Whoever gets the ball has the control. They can set the tone and set the pace.
Well, let's see who gets it. NC State has won every one so far. Deaver really has not been challenged much. Two players in the crouch, and we're going again, and it looks like NC State lost it for the first time, one forward by ECU.
Darn.
And they'll bring it in offensively down the sideline space, and the Pirates will work it back behind, spinning off a defender. And they'll set up long lobbed pass out towards the half line. Brendan Byer gives it off to Mamel. Mamel will go back to the far sideline, and ECU will slow things down again. NC State will send out LeConte to speed them up a little bit near half. And NC State being a little aggressive defensively here. That might be what ECU was looking for, to create some space. And they got to stick up to the head of an ECU player, and that'll force a flag. Back up to Byer, over to the far sideline. Charging in. Nice defense. Ball's knocked loose. NC State picks it up.
There goes another
and we have another flag. NC State's going to lose two players here. Possibly three if that third flag isn't for the same thing the second one was thrown for. It looks like it will just be two NC State players, but this is a good chance for ECU. They got a lot of extra space now, and I think that's what they were trying to do by bringing the ball all the way back out towards half and forcing NC State to stretch their defense. They don't really have to do that now. They can compact things, and this could lead to some good chances.
Indeed.
Oh, they're continuing to sort things out. NC State has 4 players, as well as the goalkeeper, out on the defensive half. And they'll be up against 6 Pirates. So this will be interesting to see how NC State defends with 2 less players out on the grass. Certainly a lot of space. We can already see ECU's compacted things a lot more than when they were playing before those 2 flags were thrown.
State is going to be feeling the pressure.
And ECU has picked up the tempo, quick passes. NC State doing a good job keeping it as far outside as they can. ECU working in, shot loose in front as it was
running
blocked
State
down.
ragged.
And it's picked back up by ECU's Byer. Byer will send it back out into the center of the field for O'Brien, and it's thrown away on a pass. That gives it right back to NC State. Huge break as ECU had a couple of good chances in there and couldn't get anything to go.
I agree, Chris, I agree. State's defensive circle is getting tighter and tighter by the second.
Well, they get possession here, and this will allow them to waste away the rest of the time, and we are back even. Oh, excuse me, it looked like they had brought players back on. Nobody back on yet. But NC State will bring it up nonetheless. Down the near sideline, looking to waste some time away. Cody Stanford holds it in the middle of the field. No pressure. ECU just going to let him hold it there. And now he's going to split the defenders. Has space on the opposite side. And it'll be whistled dead. And another timeout called this time by NC State, I believe, as they're going to, I guess, set up something shorthanded here. Both teams heading back out onto the field as we get set to resume 4-1 NC State as the lacrosse team takes on the ECU Pirates here at Method Field. Chris Lehman and Khalil Elliott on Wolfpack Sports Television. NC State will resume play.
This has been an exciting game so far, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
NC State holds the 3-goal advantage. We're back even as both NC State penalties over. And they have possession. Working with it. Back behind the net.
State's looking for that sweet spot.
Worked back out for Duncan. John Duncan goes up to the top of the attack line for Melton. Around to Deaver. Deaver's got nothing. Pressured, and he'll have to get rid of it into the far corner. And NC State will work it back around. It really looks like they're trying to get it into the hands of Deaver on that far side. Now he's going to cut back across, though, and it'll create space for Melton. He comes in, spins, shoots, and it's saved by ECU's Grunewald, and Grunewald having an excellent game. He's given up 4 goals, but he's made 3 or 4 really great stops as well.
Goes for a long pass that just doesn't quite connect, but he picks it back up.
And plenty of space now.
There's the whistle.
It'll be offsides. That was picked up on the wrong side. A little issue there. And that's one thing you don't see in really any other sport. He was called, I believe, offsides for that play. And that's why it's important to make that catch right across half. So NC State gets it back, 3-goal advantage, looking to add to it. Held behind, spinning out.
He's being beaten back.
Yeah, Adam Johnson nowhere to go as he's held in that corner. He'll get it out to Blackwelder, and Welder will get it up top for Quinn. Bailey Quinn spinning at the attack line. Can't find an open lane, so he goes across for Duncan. Worked back behind. Miller Barber holds it. Fakes one way, now gets back out. Doesn't have enough time to get out in front and find a pass.
Goes for a
so
juke, then a
retreats.
spin.
Now he's going to try and get out in front of himself. Spin, shoots, and it's off the post. Good chance there for Miller Barber. Barber's already got 1. And it'll be passed up. ECU losing it on the ground, rolls out, and NC State holds it.
Which is good for State. Which is very good for State.
That's the ECU's going to have to turn back and focus on the basics right now. They're not connecting on passes. Twice they've not connected on passes, and it's caused turnovers. And so NC State again working in their offensive half. Bailey Quinn holding on the near side, goes up top towards half for Schultz. Schultz gets down in onto the side of the net, whipping around, the shot off the ground from Sullivan. Bounces up over top of Grunewald and the ECU net. NC State holds on to it.
It's going to keep Grunewald guessing.
Blackwelder on the far sideline. NC State slows things down now. And Johnson will try and speed it back up on the far side of the goal. Loses the ball into the ground. NC State holds on to it. Out in front, they score. Ripped by Sullivan. 5-1 NC State. But now you're starting to see those turnovers come back to hurt ECU. That's 2 times they had a chance to bring it back up and get opportunities of their own. And they give it up. How big is that for them, Khalil?
Very big, very big. I would honestly love to be in their coach's head right now. More than likely he is trying his best to think of any type of counter plan or counter strategy to
Well, it seems like maybe we talked about they've had a pretty good counterattack. Maybe they're trying to get out too quickly in a couple of occasions. We did see on the play here at half that led to the turnover. It was a long lobbed pass, which sometimes can be hard to handle. And it worked out in NC State's favor, so that may be part of it.
Again.
And the Packer going to win the faceoff. Great play by Deaver. Nowhere to go forward. Slaps it back to a teammate and Jack Sarley. And NC State will work with it. Adam Johnson behind the goal.
The Pack has just been dominating with these face-offs so far.
And they've only lost one. That has certainly been a big reason that they have controlled most of this game. Bailey Quinn worked around behind. Johnson with it behind the goal again. Back out in front for Scholes. To the center of the field for Quinn. Quinn's going to try and do some work. He gets around his defender, throws it to the side of the net where he's got Johnson. Johnson can't get out in front, finds a man in front, swatted away by the long stick of an ECU defender. And if I'm not mistaken, that was Clay Gordon, number 3. Excellent play, and it gets ECU back in possession of the ball. We'll see if they can hold it this time. They haven't been able to get across half the last 2 times up. Grunewald with it. The goalkeeper will throw it back, and there's another missed pass there for ECU.
That'll be the 3rd one of the night.
And a 3rd on 3 possessions, too. That's going to have to change if they want to get back in this one. They'll bring it up. ECU on the far sideline holding it. Charging in front, knocked out of his wicket. And NC State will pick up the ground ball. It can't hold on to it. ECU has it this time. At half, charge back forward. We'll have a whistle. And it seems like there's some confusion out there. I'm not sure what they stop play for. ECU has it. And they'll hold on to it here. It'll be restarted by Mamel here on the near side. But the officials will gather together. And we'll wait to restart. It will be ECU in possession here on the near side. Controlled by the Pirates, back behind the NC State goal. Ryan McCarthy around to the far sideline. Pirates still in control. Back to the top for Beyer. Over to Mamel, back behind Brendan Kelly.
Combination of ECU's coach and fans are pretty much pressuring them to get the ball closer in.
They're spreading things out right now, and that's what they've been doing, trying to get NC State to chase. Now they will. And that creates some space in front, but another missed pass. Is it going to roll out? And it will not. Kept in. Well, no, it did. It came back across, and so NC State will get possession.
What number is that right now, Chris? Is that the 4th or 5th missed pass?
That is the 4th by my count, just in the last about 5 minutes, and that's really hurting ECU right now. NC State in possession. They'll go to work here. Big lead for the Pack at this point, 5-1. And they'll go to work. Deaver up top for Melton. Over to the far sideline. Charging in with it. And the shot is stopped. Grunewald in the right position again, and he's keeping it manageable right now for ECU. He'll bring it up forward. Finally gets rid of it. He'll find Brett Ryder. Ryder down the near sideline has it knocked out, and it's taken right back the other way. That's a great play by Jesse Melton. Up the near side, he's got a teammate in Adam Johnson. Johnson fakes the pass, crosses in front, doesn't have a shot, and so he'll pull back out. Gets it to Deaver on the far sideline. Back to Johnson. Back behind the net. It's Sullivan. Launches one back out in front. John Duncan all the way out near half. Deaver. He'll start in. Crossing back and forth. Can't find an opening. Goes to the far side corner. For Johnson. Back out to Sullivan. High pass. Bobbled. But there to grab it back is Duncan. It's just over his head. He stays composed. But there's the difference. NC State, when they're missing on passes, they're not missing by enough that's becoming an issue. There's another one held on to by Melton. That's not the case for the Pirates.
Probing that defense.
Back out top, Deaver again. Across to Duncan, down to Johnson, and over to Sullivan behind the net. He's going to try and get out in front. Spins on the goal line, loses the ball, has it back.
Can he keep it?
And we're going to have play stopped NC State will keep it after Sullivan was knocked down.
Good break for the Pack.
And they'll start in the near corner. It's John Duncan. He'll get it into Barber. Over into the far corner behind Johnson. Worked back up top for Melton. He'll gain control of it. Charges in, fakes right, goes left, fires, and it's just wide right. NC State holds on, though. Johnson was behind the net and closest to the ball when it went out. He's got it now. Hands it off for Barber back there. They're going to cross. Barber trying to get out in front, and that's going to be a legal pick. Set by Johnson as he just stood in the way and made no effort to get out and leave an open path for the defender.
Here coming some fresh bodies.
For both sides, getting in a couple of pairs of fresh legs. ECU brings it down. Beyer has it in the near corner. He'll hold on to it.
Long
Toss
loping
back
pass.
up top. And ECU will set up. They slow things down. We'll see if they spread it out again. They're a little more compacted than they were last time. Beyer with it again on this near side. He's going to run down and behind. Throws it out in front. It's swiped at the net, and it rolls wide.
I feel like the terrain had a little bit to do with that attempt at a shot. The wicket seemed to dig into the ground, and that may have messed up some of his power.
Brendan Kelly on the near side goes behind the net, and the Pirates will work it around the horn. And they look like they're going to spread NC State out again.
What ECU really needs to focus on right now is their ball control. Their passes tonight haven't looked that great, and their ability to just hold on to the ball in general to stop State's turnovers have not at all been acceptable.
No, and they just haven't had the bounces going their way. We just saw O'Brien slip a little bit. He gets back out in front and gets a shot. It fails going wide, but ECU again close enough to maintain possession. Wheel has it. He's been dangerous. Not in this game. Tries to dive out in front. Can't get it. And now it'll be ECU holding on to possession after the ground ball. Wheel was pinned down on the ground. Pirates restart play. Beyer crosses in front. Bounces one wide of Edwards. But ECU again holds on behind the goal. They'll restart play. Wheel trying to find a way out in front. He's guarded tightly by John Huey. Huey not letting him go anywhere. Forces him to the ground. There's a flag. Still out in front. The shot goes just wide. So he played that one like a hockey stick. But now that will give the Pirates a man advantage here. Now they had a 6-on-4 advantage at one point and couldn't do anything with it. We'll see if they turn things around here. Kelly will hold it in the near corner as we restart. Has it knocked away in the near corner. It'll stay in play, and there to pick it up for the Pirates is number 5, Ray McCarty. And McCarty's pinned there, and a whistle blows. That'll be halftime. And both teams will head down to their respective ends of the field and talk things over. But before we take our halftime break, Khalil, what have you seen so far? NC State, obviously on the scoreboard, 5-1. They have a dominating lead. What has led to that?
As I said before, what they've been able to do well is keep a good team unity and cohesion, as well as apply pressure when needed. Now, ECU, if they were able to hold on to the ball and keep control of it, this would have something to be contended with. But as I said before, ECU has not done a good job with this tonight.
We'll have to see if they make the proper adjustments to get this game back within reach in the second half. Right now, it's the NC State Wolfpack leading the ECU Pirates 5-1. You're watching NC State Lacrosse on Wolfpack Sports Television. Well, both teams ready to start up again as we get ready to start the second half. ECU will start with it here on Wolfpack Sports Television. NC State Lacrosse, Chris Lehman and Khalil Elliott with you.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Khalil?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's a bit nippy out here, but
Yeah, sun's gone down. It's getting windy. Good chance right in front, and ECU strikes early. Guess who? It is Tom Wheel, the leading scorer. That is his 14th goal of the year.
It seems like they came back with a good game plan from this halftime break.
Well, they got NC State spread out defensively there, and that's what they've been trying to do. We see why. They make that space in front. Wheel drives it right in front, gets the pass, and fires it home. It's now 5-2 NC State here in the early stages of the third quarter.
Which I am grateful for. It wouldn't have been that exciting of a game if it was just a blowout.
Well, we'll see how the rest of this half goes. We've only played about a minute at this point.
True.
So there's about 39 minutes left. NC State really commanded most of the first half. And really the only good chances that ECU got in half number one, Cleo, came on counterattack. And that was a problem. They had some problems holding on to the ball at the end of the second quarter.
Right, yeah. Seems State has the ball yet again.
State won it off the faceoff. Deaver again. Near perfect on faceoffs tonight. He's got it again. But the attack line, he'll hold it. Goes behind. He's got Sullivan there. Across for Johnson. Far sideline. He'll hold it there. Working back out. Shadowed by an ECU defender. Pinned on the sideline. He'll get it out into open space. And NC State will reset their offensive scheme. Holding on to it. Melton. He gets pinned up top. Cross for Duncan. Work down around to Johnson behind, where he'll give it to Sullivan. They switch places. Sullivan on the far side. Tosses it out in front. Stolen away by ECU. That was Ryder defensively for the Pirates, and they're going to try and get it up. This is where they've had problems, and it looks like they'll get it up fairly smoothly this time. Plenty of space right through the middle of the field. Now it's knocked away. And a couple of bodies go sprawling. NC State will pick up the ground ball and bring it the other way, but ECU is right there to chase them back. And Huey has to find some open space before he chucks it back up. NC State will go on the attack. Duncan across, back in front. It bounces just wide off of a couple bodies in traffic. A good idea just to throw it out there and see what happens. By number 16, Michael Mastriani out in front. This time, Duncan hits the post. And that was a strong shot. Who was there first? ECU was. Reaching out with the stick to get the advantage for the Pirates was number 28, Chase Keller. And he'll start it back up as ECU brings it up the field. Down behind the goal. They'll work it around. Brendan Kelly tosses it back up top where he's got Coffey. Patrick Coffey goes over for Mamel. And they'll work it around the horn. And again, it looks like ECU's game plan is spread out the defense, Khalil, and just wait until they get too impatient to wait any longer.
Almost as if they're trying to have State do a misstep just from the adrenaline pumping through their veins.
Well, it worked earlier in this quarter. We'll see if it works again. Spinning shot goes just past the far post. Edwards was there to make a save, but that was a dangerous chance for the Pirates. A good shot. And they'll work again. Holding on to it, Morgan. He'll retreat with it on the far sideline.
The wind might actually be adding a little bit to the roughed weather of tonight.
And then there's going to be a flag as a couple of players get tangled up here on the near side. And another flag flies on the other side.
I don't know about you, Chris, but it looked like a case of unsportsmanlike conduct to me.
To me, it looked like you just had a couple of guys get tangled up. Now, there were 2 flags thrown. But I don't see anyone over there for NC State in the penalty area.
All right. I admit I might be mistaken.
It does look, NC State does only have 5 defenders down there on that half. So they will be down a man. See if ECU can take advantage, holding on to it. O'Brien over to the far sideline. Whip down low, waiting for it though as Edwards gets the wicket down there in between his legs and makes a nice grab. So NC State will get the man back here.
Edwards hasn't had much work tonight, but it looks like he might be in store for just quite a bit of action in this second half. You've got to love this, Chris. Fast-moving bodies, high-octane sport. So much on the line. It's invigorating to be out here right now.
NC State still with a 5-2 lead, looking to make it 6-2, and they will. Right out in front. It's put home by Adam Johnson, his second. And NC State up 6-2, and it seems like every time that ECU has been able to answer and start to get something going, the Wolfpack have come back and silenced them in some way or another. Most of the time it's been with goals.
In a game like this, you more or less have to do that. You have to be able to command the field and pretty much instill your own will into what's going to happen. If you give the team any room or any speed to come back from any challenges or any goals of their own, it's going to be a lot tougher. As I said before earlier in the game, lacrosse, like most sports, is a psychological game. And State has the ball yet again.
Deaver near perfect in that center circle on faceoffs. NC State will control. Holding on to it right now for the Pack is Jack Sarley. And he'll hand it off. Blackwelder with it now on the far sideline. NC State stalling and getting some changes into the game as the players change on the fly here, much like hockey. This lacrosse really kind of a combination of a couple of different sports here. You could almost argue there's a little bit of baseball in it with the wickets. There's also, of course, the hockey element to it and the soccer element to it as well with the big field. Making it a very interesting sport. Another chance for NC State, but the pass centered in front, still bobbled on the ground, picked up by Barber. Miller Barber gets it down low for Johnson. A goal away from the hat trick, tries to throw it out in front, knocked down by the ECU defense, and he gets it right back. Johnson pressured, knocked down, ball loose again, bouncing around, and now the Pack have it. And they'll find space, plenty of room for Johnson. His centering pass, no one there to grab it. He was looking for, I believe it was John Duncan, and Duncan couldn't reach back with the stick to get a hold of it.
I'll say this, Chris. State tonight has just done a marvelous job with ball recovery. Right there, the ball must have hit the floor almost 3 times, and State was always there to pick it right back up.
Reaching the halfway point, and we'll have another flag thrown up here at half. NC State takes down the ECU player, and now we might have another one on the bench of ECU as there's a flag thrown on the other side of the field right in front of the Pirate table. We'll see. But NC State on the illegal takedown will send a player into the penalty area. And I'm waiting to see if ECU has to do the same, because it did look like a flag was thrown on the Pirates bench. And I believe that's what it is both teams have 5 aside here down to our left. NC State will have possession, it appears, as the second flag thrown was on the Pirates. All right, now my mistake, that second, I'm not sure why they threw that second flag. NC State does have, I know that second flag was on NC State. I didn't see an NC State player in that direction, but it is 6-on-4 for the Pirates. Missed pass will roll out of bounds. We talked about this, Khalil, and they turn it right back to NC State again.
Yes, we did.
Missed opportunities, the story of the night so far for the Pirates, as they give it back to NC State, and it'll be run up, a flag thrown, and that will give NC State a little bit of relief. Coming from behind, a diving swat made by the Pirates, number 13, Mamel. NC State holds on to possession of it.
Thanks to Johnson. Johnson was able to get it right out of the air.
And they have quickly flipped things around, have the Pack, as they've got all 6, it looks like, back out there for NC State on their offensive half. And so they have the man advantage for the time being. Pack will work with it. Out in front, nothing there. A lob pass over to Melton. Spins, tries to get in front, can't find a hole. Throws it across. It'll be knocked off of an ECU defender and out, so NC State will keep possession. Wind picking up, and that certainly has to be a little bit of a factor. There's been quite a temperature change sitting outside here. We've felt it, Khalil. What kind of effect do you think that's having on some of these players?
I happen to think the temperature change could be a blessing to some of these players. As I said before, with such a high-octane game, high movement, high speed, high repetition, they're going to get tired. They're going to get sweaty. They're going to overheat. So if anything, this weather is helping them cool down. It's helping them to be able to stay energized and rejuvenated.
All right, well, NC State will restart play with possession on their offensive half. On the near side, Johnson. He'll go behind for Lloyd. Andrew Lloyd gives it to Barber out in front. The shot is just wide. NC State holds on to it. Melton had a good chance there. He got a nice pass from Barber. He couldn't find the net with it. Right around about the 12-minute mark here in the third quarter. Still about 8 left. Deaver with it. The center of the field, hands it off. Now Sullivan across to the far side. It's lobbed down low, and no one was behind the net for NC State. Miller Barber had come back out as NC State had set up somewhat of a cycle over on that far sideline, and miscommunication, Barber out of position. ECU gets the ball back. They're going to throw it right away, though. NC State defensively can't hold on to it. Still loose on the ground. ECU scoops it, loses it, and now NC State gains control. The pack up the far sideline, spinning with it. Lloyd gets out of 3. Pirates. Great move. Here he comes. Plenty of space up the far side. Hands it off. Back across. Shot coming from Johnson. Looking for the hat trick. Just missed that near top corner. NC State holds on to it, though, and they'll set up the attack again. Little pause as we have some substitutions in. And now NC State restarts it. Deaver with it out near half. Tosses it down the near sideline for Johnson. Adam Johnson holding. Jogs behind the net. Works all the way around to the far side. Still with it, turns around, spins, shot goes wide, bounces out on the end line, and NC State has 2 players there to claim possession.
That would have been a highlight reel shot, Chris.
And he just couldn't get it to connect. NC State has had a couple of opportunities to really put together some highlight reel plays. We did see one right off the faceoff with the goal, the second goal of the game, mostly orchestrated by Deaver, who won that faceoff and charged forward with it. But NC State being patient, trying to get out in front. Johnson spins, fires, bounced right into the gut of Grindelwald. And he'll scoop it up. Pirates back in possession, but we continue to see them up the field with some long passes. And this time it'll be run up. They're starting to learn that lesson. These long passes are not working out. Plenty of space, still with it. And it's knocked out just at the last minute from behind. The Pirates still with it, though. Right out in front, knocked down, loose on the ground. NC State grabs up the ground ball, and now they've got space to come back the other way. With it is Hugh. He's got space. He'll wind up, fakes the shot, gets it to Barber, who fires it through the legs of Grindelwald and in. And NC State will take a 7-2 lead now, and it seems like they're just going to look to run this one out and run the score up. Just over 5 minutes left in this third quarter. Set up for another face-off. Deaver only lost 1 so far.
Let's see if State's Golden Boy can get it again.
Crouched in the ready position as they get set. And we resume. Deaver again with the win, scoops up the ground ball, and he'll hold on to it down the near side, tosses it to Sullivan in the near corner. And NC State will set it up. Sullivan goes to the middle of the field. where he's got Quinn. Bailey Quinn crosses back over onto the near side. And he'll run it down behind the net before he gives it off to Miller Barber. Long pass back out towards the attack line for Blackwelder across to the far sideline. NC State playing catch over on that side. Back to Blackwelder again. He'll charge in, retreats, looking for space, finds it, fires, bounces one in. And NC State just finding every hole in the ECU defense right now. They've run the score up to 8-2 now.
They are absolutely on fire right now, Chris.
And the big thing for ECU is we've talked about missed chances with turnovers, giving the ball away on sloppy passes. And it's really starting to hurt them. You could flip this score to somewhere around a 6-4, which would be real tight if you're able to eliminate those turnovers for ECU.
Missed chances, missed shots. In some cases, even a loss of possession of the ball due to a missed shot right into the State's open arms.
The Wolfpack certainly accepting every gift that ECU has given them. A little tougher battle here, and NC State actually not able to come away with it. Still loose ground ball all the way out in front of NC State's goal before the Pack pick it up. Huey there to grab it away. And NC State will start to bring it back up, handed back to Edwards, the goalkeeper. He'll go long up the far sideline, and he's got a teammate in Bailey Quint. Quint crosses the field. Cradling one-handed, holds on to it in the near sideline, turns back. And he'll toss one across the middle of the field. There to receive it was Rucker. Over to Blackwelder on the far sideline, and now behind the net, NC State controls. It's Michael Sullivan. Back out for Quinn to Blackwelder up at the attack line, across over to Rucker. Back up to Blackwelder again. He's going to run in with it. Spins around his defender. There's another Pirate there to knock him off. He's knocked down on the ground, and a couple of shots taken by Blackwelder on the floor. And for that reason, NC State retains possession.
I will say this. Lacrosse is one of those only games that you can get up, be knocked down, get back up, and be knocked down right again in less than 10 seconds.
NC State still in control offensively. Behind the ECU net, they'll set things up. And they've really run a lot of time off the clock here, just with possession. Thrown out in front, stolen away at the defense of the Pirates. They got some space again, running it straight forward. Still room across half. Down low, spinning, backhanded shot is off the chest of Edwards, who can't get the stick up to control it. ECU will hold on as they pick up the ground ball. Brendan Kelly in the near corner, pestered there by NC State's Stanford. And it'll go back to half. He's got Jeff O'Brien. O'Brien will cradle on the near side. Back to the center of the field. ECU slowing things down again, and they're starting to get to the point. Now there's another 20-minute quarter left. But they're starting to get to the point where they're running out of time to sit around and hold this. They're going to have to start to attack. Now with it, Byer. Down the far sideline, hands it off, bouncing the shot in, and it's blocked by Edwards. Or no, NC State actually has changed the keepers here in this half. Parker Staton in here for NC State now. As Blackwelder will bring it up the near side. Still holding it. Looks over to the Pirate defense and now sends it back out up top. Duncan will hold on to it there. Time running low here on the quarter. Down to our last couple of minutes. Mishandled pass. As they get out of bounds, does NC State get there first? They get there, but they're unable to hold it. That was Adam Johnson.
Looks like it'll be a turnover.
And that is how, sounded like that was the end of the quarter. And instead ECU will bring it up. They've run this down to about a minute.
There's a flag.
And the flag has come out.
Chris, were you able to catch whose flag that was on?
I did not see. I was watching play down here near us, and it's over by the NC State bench.
Hmm.
And based on personnel on the field, it looks like it went against ECU as it is mugging down there low. NC State traps it loose in front of NC State's net. Ground ball picked up, big hit laid.
It's always important to remember, Chris, these are men out here right now, and they do play like it.
I do believe that hit cost NC State a player for the time being. That's what it looks like. NC State with 5 players out there. ECU has the full 6, so they do have the man advantage here at the moment. They'll start to work the offense. The top of the attack line there. It was O'Brien thrown in, and ECU finds the back of the net. So finally they take advantage of a man advantage. That's not something we've seen them do very much, Khalil.
They've needed
that's why
this.
we see NC State up 8-3. So the face-off comes back out to the center circle. Devers set up again. And again, he will be up against ECU's Thomas Morgan.
This is Devers' game now.
Whistle blows, play back underway. Deaver wins it forward. He's got space, charging on, gets it to the far sideline. Work down low. NC State can't hold on. Flag thrown. And it looks like it will go against NC State as they send a man off.
I will say this, State has had quite a high number of flags and penalties called on them tonight.
That's a result of them being as aggressive as they've been, and for the most part, it's worked out more for the better than for the worse.
Very true, very true.
See, Deaver has control, cradling one-handed. And now we will end the third quarter. Deaver just runs it out, and that will do it. We're going to step aside here. 20 minutes left in this one. NC State well in control, 8-3. Both teams right now with the man waiting in the penalty area. There was a flag thrown at the beginning of this final quarter. Face-off not controlled yet. Now NC State does pick it up. It's Deaver. And Deaver will bring it up for NC State.
But isn't it always Deaver, Chris? Isn't it always Deaver?
Look at it across to Melton on the far sideline. Melton goes behind the goal. He gets it to Sullivan. Sullivan switches places with Miller. Barber, the pass to Barber is errant. It'll roll away. Does it get all the way out of bounds?
There's the whistle.
It does. Who touched it last is the question. They're going to say it last touched ECU, so NC State holds on to it. Melton has it now. And he'll get things going offensively for NC State up near half. He'll streak down the far sideline, has some space. Sidesteps a man, little swim move. It's time in front, and he scores. And that's what happens when you have the extra space with men off the field. It's now 9-3 NC State. That one goes on the scorecard as a Jesse Melton tally. And NC State really now just looking to run this clock out.
At this point, State will actually have to try to lose this game.
Yeah, the thing for ECU, at least what it seemed like here, is when they get behind is when they really struggle because of the way that they set up offensively. It reminds me a little bit of a Notre Dame. It's one of the teams in collegiate lacrosse that is known for slowing games down and doing what we see ECU doing. And the problem with that is when you get behind, that offense, that slow-paced offense can be detrimental to you when you need to make up big margins, and that'll force ECU to play differently here in this final quarter. And we'll see if it helps them out. Still ball on the ground. This time ECU looked like they were going to pick it up. Still can't control it. Deaver now has it at half for NC State here on the near side. He gets it up to Johnson. Adam Johnson with space. Tries to get in front. Can't do so. Gets it back to Barber, and they'll reset with Deaver up top. NC State controlling on the far sideline, down behind the ECU. But NC State still in control. Back behind Johnson. Behind the ECU net. Gets it to Sullivan on the far sideline. Looking for Johnson again, but he's not there. And double teamed to Sullivan. He'll run his way out of it behind the ECU goal. Finds space in front, whips it around, and misses the shot just wide. NC State in position to regain control, though, in that far corner. And play is back underway again.
I've got to hand it to Sullivan, Chris. He handled his own, even though being double teamed and whacked by those 2 wickets.
Well, that's one of the differences we've seen. NC State has been able to run out of problems in cases where ECU has been forced to pass out of them, and that's a big factor when it comes to turnovers, is if you have to get rid of that ball, particularly in lacrosse, passing can be difficult. And you see it right there. NC State's Milton throws it away on that far sideline, out of bounds. ECU gets it back. And we'll see how they decide to bring it up. They're not running it right now, and NC State really pressuring hard, not giving them that chance. Grunewald sidesteps a defender, and now he'll throw it deep up, and there's that long pass that's been so problematic. Fortunately, there's another man there for ECU to pick it up, and that is number 4, Brendan Kelly. Kelly gets it in front, and the shot is ripped low, and that was a screamer on the grass. And NC State will get it back as that shot missed wide. Whistle resumes play, and NC State will bring it up the far side. Lob pass up the half. There to grab it, LeCompte. And he's going to come off after getting it deep. NC State controlling behind the Pirate net. Trying to work out in front, Stanford. He can't. He'll get it back out to Bailey Quinn. Worked across to Rucker. He'll play catch with Schultz. Rucker again. Crosses down the far side of the goal. Spins, shoots, and Grunewald up to the task as he reaches up and snags it with the wicket.
I must say, though, that was close. That was close.
That's a good chance for NC State, and I think at this point, that's all they're looking to do is just run some clock down and get a good chance. And you may hear it through our microphones, wind picking up here. It's really, for the most part, blowing straight across the field, not in favor of either team for the most part. ECU gets across half, pass is too long again, and there's another turnover. NC State gets it right back.
Turnovers, ball possession. State's got it all at this point.
And NC State really has just played within their limits in this game, and I think they knew doing that would result in the outcome that they were looking for, and that's what we've seen so far. Another bad pass, and NC State will give it back to ECU just across half. And the Pirates bring it back up, plenty of space. Gaining speed, and we hand it off to Kelly. Brendan Kelly on the near sideline, back up to the attack line where he's got Byer. Over to the far side of the field. Right back to Byer. And again back over to Murphy. Murphy hands it off on the far sideline. And ECU will reset offensively, but again, all the way back to the center circle before restarting. And
there's a flag.
We have a flag coming in. And both teams standing around. I'm not sure either squad knows exactly what the call is on this one. It looks like it'll go against the Pack. And it'll be number 18, Jack Sarley, who will head off. But whenever NC State has been down a man, it hasn't really seemed to hurt them too much.
If anything, I would say being down a man makes the remaining members of the team have to fight for it more. And that extra fight, that extra adrenaline, that extra power really shows.
ECU will restart it. They'll work tight quickly. Quick passes, shot, bounces wide, charging after it. Staton is not going to get to it in time, and so ECU holds on, and they will restart play again. Pass tipped away. NC State Again, another great defensive play, knocked backwards, and the Pack get it across
flag.
half, and there goes the flag on the hit by Tyler Horner, and I believe he's the one who will head off here. But that's tough for NC State, and it'll now be 6-on-4.
I'll be very interested to see if State doesn't actually come away from this unscathed. As I said, as we've noticed before, the less players they have, the harder the Pack plays.
6-on-4 down in the NC State end, and that will be given to NC State. I believe it was ruled a pass that goes out of bounds, and so there's no need to chase it down. And again, there's a turnover with a good chance to get back on the board, and ECU just cannot find a way to get it done. So NC State restarts play from their own end line. Plenty of space. And slipping with it is NC State's defense.
It's a tough game.
Davis, and Davis finally gets across. And now we'll have another flag, this one on ECU. And NC State a chance, they score. Across to Johnson, and that's his third.
Less players, more pressure.
And so NC State makes it 10-3. As we reach about the halfway point of this quarter. But we're going to have more flags issued. There was the one we saw thrown down here on this near sideline. It's still sitting there. But I believe there was another one thrown over on the other side.
Towards the end of that play, the Pack was just devouring that damage. It seemed like nothing could stop them.
They're still waiting to restart. I'm not sure what we're waiting on at this point. NC State will be down a player. So there was a flag thrown against the Pack, and
if anything at this point, more than likely it'll just help them.
And ECU will start in their own end down that far sideline. Long pass up to the half line, and now across. And so the Pirates set up NC State with just 5 defenders, and this time the Pirates take advantage. Quick shot, quick goal, and I'm not sure that Stanton was even ready for that. I didn't see him react to it. He may not have even seen it. That goal goes down as credited to Patrick Coffey.
It's at this that ECU excels. By that I mean when the game first starts, or when a play finally gets into action, their quick decision making is able to get them that goal. Not even allowing the Pack to react to what they've done.
And really what we've seen for the most part in terms of how ECU has produced offense has been quick attacks. Right there you see they get it up the field quickly. They find an open spot fast, and Coffey's there to hit the open hole and put it in. I also saw the same thing with their other 2 goals on counterattacks. So this is a team that strikes quickly. The problem is they're not the best at creating those quick strike opportunities and getting themselves in those chances. So that is why NC State holds a 6-goal advantage at this point, and another delay in play.
You have to say their ECU's method of trying to do a slowdown to more or less find an opening, as well as make the Pack more agitated as possible, hasn't worked. But these quick attacks have been able to saw straight through the Pack's defense.
It looks like there was an issue with a player's stick, as the officials, I think, are measuring to make sure. They're actually checking the pocket. The pocket has to be shallow enough that the entire lacrosse ball does not sag below the frame. So it looks like that's what they're checking, is the pocket of a player's stick.
Would that be the ECU stick or Pack stick?
And that, I believe it was an an NC State stick, because an official came off of the NC State bench with it And let's see if they're throwing a flag for an illegal stick. I haven't seen anyone go off for NC State, so it looks like they did deem it legal. NC State does have their full force back out on 9 bodies plus the goalie. And we'll face off in the center circle again. Patrick Coffey, I noticed, in there to take it this time. So a new face in that circle for Deaver. We'll see if it changes anything.
Coffey and Deaver, 2 Titans.
Deaver looked like he was going to win it forward. Coffey closes him off and picks up the ground ball. ECU back the other way, tiptoeing down the sideline. He keeps it in. Great play by Coffey. As he comes back in, he grabs it right back, and he'll work behind the NC State goal. Flag thrown. Some physical play from NC State defensively. Mastriani, I believe, will go off as it's finally possessed by Staten in the net for the Pack. And
I'll say this, Chris. Coffey is a contender right here.
You have to look at the play he made down the sideline. He tiptoes down it to keep inbounds, and right before he's out, he tosses it into play, and not just into play, into the vicinity where a teammate can pick it up. And then after a teammate loses it, he jumps back inbounds and makes sure that he's established himself again before he picks it back up. So that's just a great awareness from Coffey. Is now ECU with another man advantage, and there it's thrown away again. And NC State gets it back, but ECU's got to be kicking themselves. They've had a lot of great chances. NC State has been flagged probably more times than they would like to in this game, and it's given ECU some chances that they've really wasted. And NC State brings it back up, and you know, the advantage of the way that this works is NC State can go 6-on-6 on their offensive half and leave 2 back, but that does leave you 3-on-2 if ECU gets it up the field quickly. So there is a takeaway, and now NC State will be back to full strength, and that won't matter anymore. And they'll control. Barber behind the ECU goal, lobs it out for Melton all the way up to Duncan. Back to Melton on the near side. Quick move. He gets some space. He'll fire one. It nicks the post and goes wide. NC State there to maintain possession on the end line. It's Michael Sullivan. A lob went out to Melton across to the center of the field for Duncan. Holds there. He'll spin around trying to create some space. Nothing there. Hands it off. Out in front. Shot just wide. Johnson looking for his 4th. Adam Johnson, a great day for the Wolfpack, already with 3. NC State in possession. Gets it going again. Melton on the far side. Down to Johnson, right back. Across, John Duncan. Shakes in front, throws one just over the top of the goal.
State wants that goal. They want it, and they want it now.
Well, they've already got 10 of them. They have a 6-goal lead, 10-4 advantage over the ECU Pirates. As we're approaching the final 5 minutes of this one, NC State, at this point, can see them trying just to possess this all the way out to the finish, unless they find a chance like this, thrown in front. And it didn't get in. It looked like it was going to roll across, but Grunewald saves it at the last second. And ECU brings it back. Run across half. And brought down the near side by number 25, Brian George. Works it back to the center. Underhand shot is handled by Staten, who jumps in front of it. Lobs it up for Deaver. He can't handle it. ECU grabs it right back, and they'll bring it down the far sideline. Angled back towards center. Shot coming.
Whew.
And right there to grab it, Staten. And we are starting to feel a couple of raindrops. If it picks up, unfortunately, we will have to drop off right now. We will continue to cover this for you, though. NC State coming down the stretch with a 10-4 lead over ECU. They'll work with it. Tic-tac-toe passing gets a good chance for NC State, and Miller Barber throws it right over top. Waste a good chance. Fortunately for the Pack, they have a good lead. Bailey Quinn goes over to Blackwelder on the far sideline. NC State will try an attack from the far side. Spinning with it is Schulz. And his pass is mishandled. Loose ball over in the far corner, knocked out of bounds. Last off of a Pirate defender, and NC State holds on to it. Blackwelder with it. Tries to drive into the scoring area, can't get there, so NC State will have to pass it around. Quinn finds a man on the side and scores. And guess who? Adam Johnson, that's his fourth. He is tied by himself. He has tied the ECU Pirates. NC State now up 11-4. Just a few minutes left in this one.
And from what I hear from the NC State bench, they want one more, Chris. They want one more. Seems only right to make an even dozen.
A new man in to take the face-off for NC State. Deaver will get the rest. Jeremy Bowes will step into the center circle. A battle still loose. Bowes scoops it up, and he'll advance forward with it right into an ECU defender. Loses it. Ground ball fought for. Bouncing around and picked up by the Pirates. Back the other way quickly. Bobbled. Left at half. And they'll fight for it right there along the line. Knocked out of bounds. They're going to have to judge who it touched last. And it looks like they're going to say it was off of NC State. So ECU will start things up again here right near half on this near side. Whistle resumes play. We're down inside the last 5 minutes. Working with it on the near side is Joe Green, Mean Joe Green.
There's a flag.
And another flag out. ECU will have another advantage, but they throw it away. And you can see it in the reaction of some of the ECU fans here as they tilt their heads to the sky. They've seen way too many of these errant passes tonight.
In this stage of the game, the ECU players are going to be feeling almost resigned to the outcome of this game.
They do hold on to possession of the ball because of the flag. And they will have a man advantage here as the whistle blows to start us up again. ECU holding far side, crossing back in front. He's going to fire a shot, and Stetton was waiting for it. No traffic in front, so the netminder for the Pack had no problem seeing that one. And NC State will slowly bring it back upfield. Brought up across half by Schulz. Chris Schulz crosses to the far sideline and retreats back towards half. Gets it to Miller Barber. Over to the far sideline. He's got a teammate losing the handle but scooping it back up. It's Bailey Quinn. And Quinn will hold on to it here. Back up to Duncan and around and over to Chris Schulz. Schulz will look over the D. Tosses it across for John Duncan, who trades places with Schulz and goes to the near side for Bailey Quinn. Back to Duncan. Over to the far side for Johnson. He'll jog it behind the net. NC State just getting rid of the clock, running it down. Johnson tries to get in front. Adam Johnson trying to find goal number 5. Loses possession. ECU has it. And they'll bring it up. Up the near sideline comes Jeff O'Brien. Plenty of space. He'll run it up. One-handed cradle. In near the goal. Fires one down low left side. And it's grabbed up by Statton, who is ready for the low shot. He'll throw one way up over the head of Quinn. But waiting for it is Michael Sullivan on the other side of half. He'll jog it forward. And we're approaching the last minute. And that will be a timeout, I believe, called by NC State. Oh, no, that is, yes, that is the timeout by NC State. Now, it is down to the last couple of minutes. A little confused why the Pack would use that timeout at this point. Excuse me, it looked like it was a timeout. That will be the end of this game as NC State comes away with the victory. We'll wait for a handshake here.
That was a great win for this. That was a great win. Great
we'll
win
have
for
to
Beck.
hold on here for a second. I'm not sure. It might still be some play left. It looked like NC State was lining up for handshakes. And we are right down around the end of this ball game, but team's still talking things over. And we'll take this time to recap the match a little bit. Khalil, for the most part, it's been NC State all the time. They lead this one at this point 11-4. And it has just been absolute domination. Now, for ECU, they've had their chances, and they just haven't been able to hold on and control the ball.
Right, they've thrown it away time and time again.
And so the teams head back out onto the field. And they'll play out the last minute or so here. NC State will have possession, it looks like, off the start, and it will be Deaver to start it on the near side. Whistle blows, plays back underway. John Duncan receives the pass from Deaver, sidesteps his man, plenty of space, charges in, but ECU has it clogged up in front of the net, no shot there. Sullivan now behind the net for the Wolfpack. Jogs across to the far side. Switches places, spinning around in front. Melton's got a chance. It's blocked once by Grunewald, twice by Grunewald. Great play by the goalkeeper for the Pirates. Duncan picks up the rebound for NC State, gets it down low. Sullivan can't hold on. And the ground ball picked up by the Pirates, and they bring it back the other way. Up the near sideline. Down working, trying to get behind the net. Ray McCarty, he does. He'll cross right around, circles in front, no shot there, and he'll have to retreat with it. NC State defending well, not letting anything in front. Now they've stolen it away. They'll look to run things out. Lobbed across to the far side. Time and space for the Wolfpack. Tossed across half. Running down, Deaver finds a man even with the side of the net. Back to Sullivan, and he rockets it in. And that's about as close as you get to a one-timer in Lacrosse. Sullivan waiting on the weak side, and he picks up his first goal, 12-4 NC State.
Like I said, Chris, the even dozen.
The teams will head back to the center of the field. And at this point, we're just waiting for the clock to run out. Again, it will be Jeremy Bowes to take the faceoff for NC State. Chris Lehman, Khalil Elliott here on Wolfpack Sports Television, bringing you NC State Lacrosse here tonight. The Pack dominating the Pirates 12-4 here in the closing minutes. Whistle restarts play. Tough battle. And the held ball will result in an ECU possession. They'll bring it forward quickly. They've got to score fast. They want any kind of chance at making the score respectable behind the net. Back out. Holding on to it. Whipped on net. We hear the countdown going, and that's it. No chance in the end for ECU, and NC State finishes up a dominating performance. What was what made the difference today here, Khalil, for NC State?
If anything, I'd say that it was State's ferocity. It did not end, and it did not stop.
Well, I also have to take a look at the Pirates' turnovers. They turned it over way too much and wasted a lot of opportunities. As a result, NC State walks away with the win. The final score here tonight for your NC State lacrosse team, they defeat the ECU Pirates 12-4 for Khalil Elliott and Megan Glova on our camera. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wolfpack Sports Television, bringing you Into the Pack.